everyone. This is Jeff Cowan coming to you from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk with my weekly podcast entitled Write Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, The Path to Making Over $100,000 a Year Writing Service in the automotive industry, which 20% of you are doing in the United States of America and Canada at this recording. Now, if you're one of the 80% who are not, well, here's what I recommend you do. Keep listening to me because I'm going to give you weekly tips, word tracks. I'm going to give you processes, thoughts, and ideas that if you put into practice, you too can make $100,000 or more a year. Now, if you're one of the people listening and you're already making that type of money, keep listening because I can give you some ideas to help you even make more. The way I look at it, if you're going to be there all day long on the service drive, 9, 10, 11 hours a day, then why not maximize the opportunity? Now, saying all that, I've discovered that the bulk of the people who aren't making $100,000 a year or more writing service is because they buy into some form of myth, okay? And there's all kinds of myths that surround writing service, and myths are just that. They're not based on fact. They're based on perception. They're based on somebody's half-cooked ideas. Sometimes these are perpetuated by the manufacturers that build vehicles. Sometimes they're perpetuated by vendors who don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes business owners, managers will put this in their people's heads based on I don't know what. And then sometimes service advisors just create their own myth. And I think the reason they do it is because it lets them off the hook. So what I'm going to do over the next few weeks is I'm going to examine about 20 of these different myths that hold many people back from maximizing the opportunity that is out there. Because I can tell you this, the people making $100,000 plus, they don't believe this myth because they see myths as simply being a bunch of crap, if I may. So over the next few weeks, I'll give you about 4 or 5 of these myths per episode, and I'll tell you why they're myths and tell you the facts that support that. So let's take a look at the first myth I have here today. Myth number 1. If you write service and have high closing ratio and customer hours per repair order that are high in the customer paid area, then it's impossible to have good survey scores and high customer retention. Now that is just pure myth. Okay? It is totally possible to sell a ton of services and repairs, have high hours per repair order on the customer paid side, and have perfect survey scores, and have customer retention well above 85%. How do I know that? Because I've seen thousands of service advisors do it. Service advisors who buy into this myth, or managers who buy into this myth, or business owners that buy into this myth are afraid to hold their people accountable. Typically when I see somebody that sells a lot, has high hours per repair order, they have high dollars, and they have lousy survey scores, and they have lousy customer retention, is because they're basically overbearing, hard driving, I don't mean hard driving, but pushing, arm-twisting people that sometimes even sell stuff that doesn't need to be sold. They don't have the people handling skills necessary that allows them to both sell a lot and maintain the high survey scores. It's totally possible. Don't buy into this myth. If you're going to be out there all day long, you want to build your business. And the way you build your business is you sell a lot of service and repair. How so? Because when you sell what's necessary and what needs to be done, the customer's car runs better. And if it runs better, they're happier with it. And they're more likely to sit down and give you a perfect survey score. And they're more likely to come back to you because you're giving them good information. Okay, you can have it all. I know thousands of sales and service advisors that do this. Call me up. I'll give you some of their names. I mean, think of it this way. You know, we go to these restaurants like Ruth Chris and Morton's and Capitol Grill and Fleming's, and these are 5-star steakhouses. And you go in there, and these people, these servers, they're highly skilled master salespeople. They're required to be. They're highly trained, right? And they upsell you, they deliver good service, and they do it in such a way that you can't wait to go back. You literally look for excuses to go back. And these places aren't cheap. I mean, to go to Ruth's Chris, the average couple, 2 people that go in there will spend over $320 before tip just on dinner and drinks and desserts and the like. So don't buy into that myth because it's crap. You could be all day long, you can do it all. Let's take a look at another myth I have here, number 2. It takes at least a year before a service advisor can be a top producer. Well, if it takes that long, managers, then you simply hired the wrong person. You didn't train them to be successful. The person has no goals or desire to perform. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, because you know, a new service writer you got to take a look at what the job is. And I don't mean to be insulting to anybody, but the whole job that we have here is based on one cell and one cell only. It's the thing that drives your whole department or your whole business. It's that of the oil change. That's what this whole business is based on. And everything above an oil change is an upsell. And it's real simple. Either you can get it or you can't. If you can get it, hallelujah, you're probably going to have a great career. If you can't, then we need to train you. Once you're trained and you know how to get the upsell with the survey score and the customer retention, it's no longer can you or can't you, it's will you or won't you. Now, here's what I've discovered with service advisors that are brand new. Managers, listen to this. If you hire a brand new service advisor and within 90 days, 90 days, if they're not hitting at least your minimum standard on your service drive, they likely never will. Service advisors, if you've been on a service drive for more than 90 days and you're not meeting at least the minimum standards the shop has put for you, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, it's just that simple because, again, this is a very simple retail sales transaction. It really is. So it doesn't take a long time. As a matter of fact, I will say this as cocky as it sounds. Put me on your service drive, and the first year, I will have some of the highest numbers you've ever seen in all categories, in sales, retention, survey scores, gross profit, any way you want to slice it. Why? Because it's a simple retail transaction. Service advisors, in your first year on a service drive, if you're not making at least $65,000 a year, you're doing something wrong. It does not take a long time. It's a simple sell. I don't know where that one came from, but it's goofy. Let's take a look at another one here. Let's take a look at myth number 3. Now, this one just cracks me up. Okay, this one just cracks me up. Finding a great service advisor is next to impossible. Next to impossible. All right? I mean, as we sit here, there's literally over 35,000 openings in the United States alone for service advisors. It's nearly impossible to find a good service advisor. Well, if you're having a tough time, managers and business owners, finding a service advisor, it's one of these things. Either A, you don't know how to write an attractive ad. B, if you do, once you get them in, you don't know how to do an interview. C, you don't know how to find the right people. And if you do find the people, you don't know how to train them and keep them engaged. It's got to be one of those things because think about it. The average service advisor today with no college education walks right out of high school at any age, male or female, any race, doesn't make any difference whether they're 18 years old or 80 years old. The average service advisor out there today in the United States of America is going to make $65,000 a year. Now, depending on where you live, okay, because this is an average, but depending on where you live, $65,000 means that you can buy a house at 2,300 square feet that sits on 1.3 acres of land, and you'd be able to buy a vehicle and park it in the driveway that costs somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000. Okay, I mean, it's that simple. By making $65,000 a year, you're instantly in the top 15% of income earners in the United States of America with no college education. If you have a spouse and they work outside the house, you can add another 800 square feet to that house and a second car in the driveway. And most of these service advisors will get a benefit package that rivals some of the biggest industries out there, and you tell me you can't find them for a simple retail sales job? It's because you either don't know how to write an ad, it's because you don't know where you place the ad, you don't know how to interview people, and if you do, you don't know how to train them once you get them in such a way that makes them successful nearly instantly so they can have the lifestyle they want. Now, in about a month from now, I'm going to do a series of podcasts on how to place ads, how to interview people, how to get them in, how to keep them, and make them successful. But that's a huge myth. These people are out there. You're just not doing it the right way. If you keep doing something over and over, run the same ads, and you're not finding what you want, then what do we know? It doesn't work. So what do you do when things don't work? You change it. I got 2 more myths I want to go over with you here today. Myth 4 and 5, but before I do that, I want to talk to you about this book right here, Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck. Man, this thing is picking up steam. We got a lot of people buying it for graduation gifts for their kids, but it's picking up steam. So we're getting more and more service centers calling up and buying these books by the bulk. This book also comes with a support training program, video training program. If you want it, same thing, Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck. It's about 10 and a half hours. Okay, get it. I mean, it's a great program. It's going to show people how to write service. As a matter of fact, tagging on that myth we just had, you can't find people, get them that video program and start them on that 10 hours, and they will be successful. It's a great program, and you can get it by dialing 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931. Anybody picks up that phone can help you out with that. If you want just the book, go to Amazon.com. It's sold there. You can call that 800 number, and we'll show you how to get it. Or you can simply go to autoservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com. Get the book, get the videos, anything else you want there. Also, if you're going to be in this business, come and see me. I'm going to be in several places here coming up very shortly. I'm going to be in Toronto. I'm going to be in Atlanta. I'm going to be in Phoenix. I'm going to be in Indianapolis. We're going to be in all those cities coming up. Come and see me live with my 2-day workshop. I'll show you how to be successful. I'll show you how to get the maximum sales, perfect survey scores, and your retention above 85%. Quit jacking around with this stuff. Do you want to be the best or do you not want to be the best? You're watching this. It takes more than just watching and listening to this. You got to take action. Get those products. Now, this book right here, what I've learned from attending over 35 Indy 500s, it looks like it's on the way to becoming a national bestseller. No kidding. I mean, we're selling tons and tons of these. Just got the good news today that they're going to be selling it at the Indianapolis 500 this year. It's a gift shop there, in addition to it being on Amazon.com. And man, this thing is flying off the shelf. Has all kinds of life lessons regarding sales, motivation, leadership, management, and life in general. Get the book. It's fun. Back to this. We got some more myths. So we talked about the first 3 myths here. The first myth we talked about was, if you write service and sell a lot, you can't have happy customers. Baloney. It takes at least a year before a service advisor can become a top producer. Baloney. It shouldn't take more than 90 days. Finding a great service advisor is next to impossible. Baloney. They're all over the place. You just have to do it the right way. So now we're ready for myth number 4. A great service writer rarely makes a great manager. Well, you know what? You're right. I mean, if you take somebody that's a service advisor today and the manager walks out and you say, you know what, you're my top producer, so now you get to sit in that chair, and you don't train them, they're probably going to fail. Why? Because they don't know how to do the job. But if you properly train them, I've seen many service advisors become not only great service advisors, become great service managers, great fixed operations directors, great general managers at car dealerships, and great partners to those dealerships. I've seen many service advisors become managers and go out and start their own shops and start their own chains. I mean, so what happens? What's the difference? Well, if you see somebody on your staff that you potentially feel could be a manager in the future, start training them today. Start showing them the steps it's going to take to sit in that chair, so when the opportunity comes and you need them, they've got the bigger parts down. Because what you're looking for in a service advisor becoming a manager is somebody that's not only a great leader and understands the business, but somebody that's motivating, somebody that's motivating 2 people, somebody that's a get-it-done type of person, but you're also going to have to train them with the other things. So, yeah, service advisors won't make a good manager, and nobody will if you just sit them in the chair and say, you know what to do it, you'll learn as you go. I mean, that's just dumb. All right, but if you're training the person as they're there and give them more responsibility over the period of months and then sit them in the chair and train them, they make great managers. So that's a myth. Myth number 5, service writers can handle more than 15 customers a day. Not if you want high survey scores, not if you want high customer hours per repair order on the customer paid side, not if you want them to sell a lot, not if you want customer retention. Now look, there's 2 ways to run a service business that I've seen. The way that most people do it is they simply open up the doors and they just allow people to walk in. They don't have any processes in place. They really don't have any appointment or reservation systems in place. And even those that do, they still just let people come in. And so their people end up writing 18, 20, 25 repair orders a day. And you know what? There's a lot of people that do it that way, and there's a lot of places that make money. But what you've done with your advisors is turn them into high-dollar clerks. Why? Because when you're writing that many people a day, you don't have time. Now, what do I mean you don't have time? It takes time to build a relationship with the customer. It takes time to write them up. It takes time to walk around the car. It takes time to make a presentation based on what you've seen during that walk around. It takes time to set the customer up for realistic expectations of what's going to happen throughout the day. It takes time to get people on the telephone and go over a multi-point inspection and share with them everything you find. It takes time to call the customer and say, come back and get your car. It takes time to properly deliver a vehicle. And the maximum that I've seen for people to be able to write and really be successful is 15 repair orders a day. That's the general average. All right, now, I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say, well, I know so-and-so, and they write 18 or 19 tickets a day. They write 25 tickets, and they're making a ton of cash, and they have all the survey scores. They have all the customer retention, so you're wrong. Well, you know what? No, we're both right. Yeah, I can show you people that do the same thing, but for every one of those people who can write 25 repair orders and get the dollars and get the retention and get their survey scores, I will show you 5,000 people who can't. Okay? I mean, there's a Michael Jordan in every area of your life. I'll give you that. There's a LeBron James in every area of your life. I'll give you that. but there's thousands of people who play those games that aren't those people. You know, so 15 is the maximum number that you should allow your people to write if you want high sales, if you want high hours per repair order, if you want good survey scores, perfect survey scores, and if you want high customer retention. Now, I'll just say it to you this way, business owners and managers. If you're going to allow your people to write up 20 plus repair orders a day, then get off their backs about the numbers, because it's never going to happen, okay? 15 is it. So there's the 5 myths I got for you this week. I'll be back next week, some more myths. I hope you're starting to see that some of these things you're believing in just aren't true. If you have any questions about them, call me up at 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931. I'd be more than happy to go into more depth with any of these. I'd be more than happy to show you the facts to back up why these myths are just that, myths. Hey, my name's Jeff Cowan, and here's what I want you to do. I hope you've enjoyed today's meeting. I want you this next week to go out and find as many customers as you can. I want you to get them excited about your product, so excited the fact that they buy your product, give you a perfect survey score, come back and send their friends so you get at the high trifecta. In the meantime, you collect a whole bunch of commission that's going to allow you to live the lifestyle that you so deserve, because between now and next week, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Make it a great week.